Hello, it's Carrie here and welcome back to another episode of the She Means Business show. So today I have a story for you, and this story is all about how to make $1 million. So more specifically, I'm going to be sharing my own journey and story to actually making $1 million in my business. Because it's been one interesting story and there's some really key things that I've learned that have got me to this point, and so I want to share those with you. So many of us have this goal to reach $1 million, to make $1 million. And for me, I had this goal early on. So in 2009, I created this little challenge for myself. I love a good challenge. And it was called Mission to Make $1 Million, 365 days to make $1 million. And I was just completely set on this idea that I was going to figure out how I could actually make $1 million in 365 days. So I set off on this mission. I created a website and I was going to document it. I was going to document my journey and as I went along, show people how I was doing it. And so I got started on day one, and I think my only two goals for that day was to get up and go to the gym and to listen to some kind of either business program or personal development program I had. And I didn't make it out of bed to go to the gym because I was too lazy. Great start to my mission to make $1 million challenge. But anyway, by day 62, I was really falling off the bandwagon and struggling. And so on day 62, this is what I wrote. Today is the 1st of November, the beginning of month 3, and I'm starting to think that making $1 million in 1 year was totally unrealistic. Trying to make a few £1,000s a month is hard enough. I know it's defeatist, but I'm finding it difficult at the moment. I just don't know what it's going to take to make it happen. I saw Michelle Mone speak the other day about how she's become a multi-millionaire. I guess it really is just determination to follow through when you have an idea. I sometimes feel like I get so caught up in thinking about things that I never actually do anything. And it's all about the doing. Not doing equals no succeeding. I'm going to do something about it. I'm starting a new online business and I'm going to see how much I can get it making by next September. I'm hoping that I'll be making at least £20,000 net profit per month, but I know that it's going to take some doing. So day 65, I think, which was a couple of days later, was my final entry. And after that, I didn't do a single thing with my challenge ever again. And it turned to dust. I did not make my $1 million in 365 days like I had set out to. Shock horror. And fast forward a few more years to 2011, and I decided to create a new challenge for myself. And this time, my challenge was to see what would be possible if I conditioned myself for success. So throughout 2009, 2010, the beginning of 2011, I was in a really low place. I felt like I knew inside that I wanted more. I wanted to achieve more. It was like these feelings bubbling up on the inside that I knew I wasn't living life the way I was meant to. I was running a business which was phone unlocking, which was really not that thrilling. And while it was successful, I felt utterly lost in my life. I didn't know what my purpose was, and I constantly was trying to find out what my purpose was, which was miserable in itself. I felt like I just didn't know what to do. I knew I wanted to live a bigger life, a more successful life, to create how to be more fulfilled, but I just didn't know how to go about it. And I was going round and round and round in circles, and I was trying really, really, really hard to figure it out, but I felt like my mantra most of the time was, I don't know what to do. 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 And by the beginning of 2011, I felt really, really, really down. I am not really a crier, but there was moments when I remember sitting on my bed just crying because I felt so lost and confused with how I was going to figure it all out and how I was going to turn things around. So in 2011, in the February, I had a moment where I realised that the only way I could change my life was to change myself. Jim Rohn talks about this emotion of disgust, that when we have a moment of disgust where we're so disgusted by our own behaviour, it's such a powerful, life-changing moment, because it's in that moment we realise we actually need to change. And for me, I definitely was so fed up of my own crap. I was so fed up of knowing that I wasn't living a life I wanted to live. I wasn't who I wanted to be. And that feeling drove me insane. It made me feel so terrible. It's, when you're like being unproductive, you're supposed to do something, but you're not doing it. For example, like in my mission to make $1 million, on day 62, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to start a new online business. I'm going to see how much I can get it making. Did I do it? Did I take action? Hardly. I was half in, half out. And I remember setting up a new business, but I didn't really do anything with the new business. So it's like, no wonder I couldn't get results, because I wasn't actually being who I needed to be. And when you're not being who you need to be, and you're not living in that place within yourself where you're maximizing your potential, it feels crap. Like it doesn't feel good to be and exist in that place, especially not for me. I can only speak for myself. But it didn't feel good. And so in 2011, my mission success challenge was all about, okay, how do I condition myself for success? How do I actually live my dream life? And in setting about on this new mission, I realized that I needed to actually figure out what the heck my dream life actually was. I needed to think about, how do I want to feel? What are my dreams? Like, I knew I wanted something different, but what was that? Like, who did I want to become? And so I began to get clear on like what I wanted and who I wanted to become. And I literally went out and I bought a journal. I have it right here. And in my journal, I wrote the Diary of an Entrepreneur 2011, and I set about that. This time I was documenting it in my journal, and that was going to create my successful journey, and that would be what I would turn into a book and get it published with Hay House. And my lofty dreams seemed so far-fetched and so unrealistic, but I felt a different type of energy. I felt an energy where I was just opening myself up to the possibilities and looking at like, okay, I don't have all the answers. I don't have anything figured out. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm opening myself up to see what I can make happen here. What was possible? How do I want to feel? How do I want my life to be? And I'm just going to go with the flow and just see how much fun I can have experimenting and playing around. And the other thing that happened, which was absolutely huge, was when I started my original challenge in 2009, which was mission to make $1 million, my mission was for me to make $1 million. It was all about me. How am I going to make money? How am I going to make the $1 million? Whereas by 2011, I shifted to, who do I need to be to create success? How can I condition myself for success? But another really key thing that I'd switched into thinking was, how can I just show up and be of service? How can I give? How can I help? And in doing that, it totally shifted the energy I was coming from and my whole perspective. It was less about me and more about, how can I help others? How can I be of service? And that is so crucial, because as entrepreneurs, our main job is to be of service to other people. Like, if you can serve enough other people and add value and help and be of use in some way, that's how you make your $1 million. Right there. That is how you create success. That is how you make $100. It's how you make $1,000. It's how you make $10,000. It's how you make $100,000. It's how you make $1 million. It's how you make $1 billion. To show up and be of service and to be helpful and useful and give and serve and support. That is how you make the money. But in my first challenge, I was not even thinking on that level in any way whatsoever. I was thinking about things completely differently. So in 2011, when I set off with this vision and this mission, it was, okay, who do I need to be? How do I need to change? And how am I going to show up to be of service? How am I going to show up to help? And then I realized, well, in 2008, I came up with this idea to create a platform to bring women together who run businesses. And I've been so bloody afraid to do it because I kept thinking, who am I to do this? Who am I to put this out there? People will laugh at this. It will be embarrassing. All this imposter syndrome stuff. And in 2011, when I set myself up with this success challenge, I realised I had to have the courage to show up and be useful and to be helpful in this world. And my goal then became, how do I inspire and empower as many other women as possible to realise that they can actually turn their ideas into successful businesses? How do I bring us all together so that we can empower each other? How am I going to do that? How am I going to cultivate community? How can I just help other people with nothing, with no expectation? Just help. To help, that's it. And when I set off with that mission, when I set off with the view that I needed to change who I was being and I needed to get really disciplined with who I did want to be every single day so that I could actually feel good, because I sometimes think it's a discipline. When you've been stuck for so long in a frame of mind where you are negative, you're doubting yourself, you're not being who you want to be, changing to become who you do want to be takes a lot of effort and discipline, because it's not necessarily easy to make those changes. It requires you to step up, and sometimes that's really hard to do. But for me, I got determined and committed that I was going to start showing up as the person I wanted to be. And when I did that and I got clear on it and I started becoming her, I felt a million times better. And when I also started to look at how do I show up, how do I help, how do I serve, life started to change. I started to ask people, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And when you start asking people these questions, it is powerful, because people welcome help, they welcome support, they want to have conversations about how you can help them. And so my pathway began to unfold, and opportunities arose I could never have foreseen. And people popped into my life at the perfect moment to guide me and to share with me the right things to do. The messages that would pop into my life, whether it was through a YouTube video or something I'd seen or a conversation or a book I'd spotted, it was like the support that I needed and the guidance I needed would appear in the precise moment that I needed it. It was like the universe was conspiring to truly help me along this journey as I opened myself up to the possibilities and went on this exploration to see what was possible, to see how amazing I could make my life, not with the end goal to make $1 million, but with the end goal to just live my best life and to feel fulfilled and to be of service and to help other people. And it was from that place that I created my first $1 million. It was the being of service and setting myself up in that way that led me to create so much success for myself. And I just think this is so important. And as you're listening to this, I want you to think for yourself, what changes do you need to make? Like, do you feel like you're pushing and pushing and pushing and it feels heavy and it feels frustrating and it feels like impossible right now? Or do you feel like things are flowing and momentum's building and things are growing and opportunities are arising and the right people are coming to you at the right time? Like, which one of those would you say you're resonating more with? Because I know for me, for such a long time, I was in that camp of pushing and forcing and nothing was bloody moving and it was so annoying. And to switch into that place where things were flowing, opportunities were arising, was when I switched into going within and looking at who do I need to be, what do I need to do to condition myself for success, and how can I just show up to be of service. And once that became my thinking and the way I operated, that's when things shifted. That's when momentum started to grow, to build. So I want to share with you 4 key things I feel are absolutely essential on our journey to making $1 million, or making whatever you want, whether it's your first 1,000, your first 10,000, your first 100,000, whatever it is for you. It's not really about the money at the end of the day either, but I feel like money is a good way of measuring things and just sometimes how our brains are wired to function. But The first thing to do on your quest, on your journey, on your exploration is to look within, because your success is created first within you. So how could you condition yourself for success to bring about the things that you want, the life that you want, the success that you want? For me, it was about looking at my patterns, of my belief patterns, the way I was thinking, and changing it up. Instead of thinking, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what my purpose is, I broke free from that mantra and I created a new mantra for myself. A mantra where I was like, I don't have the answers, but I trust that amazing things are going to happen. I trust that amazing opportunities are going to flow to me. I trust that incredible ideas are going to arrive and that I'm going to know what I need to be working on. And I just let go. I surrendered and I just allowed myself to feel like things would start to flow to me, that things will begin to happen. I really also looked at that thought pattern, that thinking, because I was aware that what I thought and how I felt on a day-to-day basis was determining the decisions I was making, and the decisions I was making were determining the action I was taking, and that action I was taking was determining my reality. So when I was knowing that I needed to do something, but I wasn't actually doing it, I was not feeling good about myself, and I felt I was spiraling down and down and down, and I knew I had to break that cycle, and I had to go to how do I feel and what am I thinking so I can make better decisions, so I can take better action. So it was about getting myself in a place where I felt empowered. I felt so excited about the opportunities. I felt so excited about the possibilities. So even simple things like going on YouTube and watching videos that fired me up and inspired me and empowered me and made me believe that anything is possible. I wanted to sprinkle as much magical feeling into my life as I possibly could, so it got me in the right energy to be the creator that I needed to be, to actually feel motivated to step up and do the things I needed to do. I had to get myself into a place energetically where I felt like I could do it, and it felt magical and it felt inspired. And the only way to do that was to immerse myself in things that inspired me, literally putting inspirational quotes all over the place, thinking about my dreams, thinking about my life in the big picture of life, of what I wanted my life to be, thinking about what do I want to look back on my life and say I have accomplished at the end of it all. What do I want to look back and be proud of? Like, who do I need to be in order to be proud of the life that I've lived? And so asking myself those questions and making changes in the sense of the things I was doing every day to get me to a place where having good thoughts, having good belief patterns, and having and feeling inspired was just an intentional part of my day. Like, I got more intentional about it. So what can you do to get yourself on a path of conditioning yourself more for success, wiring your brain more for success? What can you do to truly become the person you want to be? And who is it that you want to be? Who do you want to be? Who do you need to be in order to create success? Who do you not need to be? Sometimes I feel like that's an easier question to answer. Well, I know I need to not procrastinate. Well, I know I need to do this. I know I need to do that. So even just thinking about that stuff is so powerful. The second thing is to really think about and ask yourself, how can I be of service? How can I help others? What can I give? What can I do? And just asking yourself that question, even if you sit down and think about like 10 ways you can help people right now. I'm not suggesting that you go out there and you're going to start business on 10 things, or you're going to incorporate those 10 things into a business that you might already have, but just like really immersing yourself in how you can be of more service. What can you do to go above and beyond, to be helpful, to be of service, to add value to people, to your customers, to your future customers, to your potential audience? What can you do to be of service? I think it's not even, you don't even have to have all this figured out, but if you just start allowing that to become something, again, you immerse yourself in, like, how am I going to be of service? How can I be helpful? What can I do? What can I give? If you start to even ask yourself that question every day, or those questions every day, and you get yourself on that track, things will start to arise, ideas will start to come to you, opportunities will start to show up. It's like you're giving yourself permission to open up, to be of service, and you're literally saying, I am here. Like, what can I do to show up in this world and help and be of service? Like, what can I do? And you're literally just opening yourself up to receive, like, however you want to pronounce it. I mean, I know this is a bit maybe out there, but like a download, a guidance, inspiration, whatever, however you want to relate to it, but just a message or a knowing of what you need to do and what you want to do, but you're doing it because it's coming to you because you're opening yourself up. You're allowing that message to flow to you, if that makes sense. So how do you want to show up and be of service? And asking yourself those questions, not to necessarily have an answer right now, right today, or next week, or this week, next month, or whenever it is, but just to ask yourself that question, to live in that space of how am I going to be of service? How am I going to help? How am I going to show up in this world? And as you start to focus on that energy, then you will bring more of it into your life, and the answers will begin to appear, and life will begin to flow, and you will start being of service, and it will lead and grow and build into something really beautiful. Okay, so the third thing is to go all in. You need to commit on such a deep level to the idea that you are going to create the success that you want. You are going to build the business of your dreams. You are going to make the million, whatever it is that you want. You need to believe and to trust that this is yours for the taking, that your life is precious, and that you get one life, and that you're going to make it as blooming amazing as you possibly can, and you're going to do everything in your power to get out of your own way and to just see what is possible, see what you can create, see how fulfilling and incredible and adventurous and exciting and amazing and successful you can make it. And when you get to that place where you're all in on that, life changes. Life completely changes. It's like the quote, when one is committed, providence moves. Things begin to happen that one could never have foreseen. That quote is so true. When we commit, when we go all in, things move. Like the universe, whatever, it moves. Everything moves for us. So you want to get yourself to that place where you're all in on this. And then fourthly, I feel like it's just about really giving yourself permission for this to be messy, for this to be imperfect, for you to just allow yourself to throw spaghetti at the wall and just see what happens, for you to realize that this is an exploration, it's an experiment, and it's not about having all the answers and having things perfectly figured out. It's about having the courage to back yourself, to back your dreams, and to see what is possible, and to see how truly amazing you can make your life, and to see where it goes. It's allowing yourself to truly get into that flow. Instead of forcing it, you're just allowing yourself to get into a flow, trusting that the best things are going to come to you, the best ideas are going to come to you, the best opportunities are going to come to you, and just allowing yourself to sit in that space. When you do that, I think that's when things arise that, things just begin to develop and happen that are really powerful. So give yourself permission for it to be messy and for it to not be figured out. That for me, that really took the pressure off when I started FEA, and it just made me think, I don't have it all figured out. I don't fully know where this is going. I don't really fully know what the plan is, but I'm going to go with it because it feels good and it feels like the right thing. And I'm excited to go on this adventure and just to see what is possible, and not to overthink it all and to get in my head about it all, but to get in my heart with it all and to allow myself to lead from that place. And honestly, for me, those four things have helped me more than anything to reach so much success in my business, to reach that million. It wasn't the logical, practical mission to make $1 million. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to chase the money. I'm going to figure out how I can make the money. That thinking never got me to the million. I'm not saying it doesn't get other people to the million. I'm only sharing my own experiences here, but it 100% did not help me to get to the million in any way, shape or form. So I just wanted to share it all with you, really, to show you that so much is possible but we have to open ourselves up to it, and we really have to look within at who we are, who we need to be, how we're conditioning ourselves for success, how we are showing up to be of service, how committed we are to showing up to be of service and to show up for our dreams and to commit and have the courage to go for our dreams, and how willing we are to let go of having it all figured out, let go of it all having to be perfect, let go of having to be the expert or to feel like we need another qualification, and allow ourselves to let it be messy, to let it just be an adventure and an exploration. Like, we have to get ourselves into that place, and from that place we can create phenomenal things that can really truly create so much fulfillment, so much meaning and so much impact in our lives and in the lives of others, and ultimately lead to creating financial success, financial abundance for ourselves. So I know this is very much on a more woo side of things. I do love me some woo. I feel like it's the woo stuff that's really helped me to create the success that I've created. But yeah, so that is how I feel like I've got to this point in my journey. And so I hope that it inspires you to just think like about these bigger questions, and to help you to see like how you could show up in your life to create more success, and to just really decide that you are going to do this, and you're going to back yourself, and you're going to back your dreams, and you are going to live your best, most fulfilled life ever. So go for it. We all have the opportunity to make that decision, and when we make that decision, life changes. So make that decision and commit to it. So I really hope that you have enjoyed listening to this. I hope that it has inspired you in some way. I hope that you feel empowered to go for it and to make your dreams a reality. I would love it if you could leave me a comment. I love reading through them, and I do read through every single one of them. Also, if you're listening over on iTunes, then I would absolutely love it too if you could leave me a review over there. I do read all the reviews, and I'm so grateful for every single one of them. So thank you so much if you already have. And I will see you next week for another episode of the She Means Business Show.